here for some Big 12 wrestling on ESPN+. Richard Figueroa already winning his bout by forfeit to start off the day. Nico Poulin, the number 6 ranked wrestler in the country at 125 pounds. We are told he did not weigh in today, so he gives the forfeit to Arizona State. Richard Figueroa, the reigning national champion at the 125-pound weight division, starts it off with 6 points in the duel for the Sun Devils, and so we get into the first period at 133 pounds between Arizona State's Julian Klebov, the number 26 ranked wrestler in the country with a 3-7 record, and taking on number 17th ranked Dominic Serrano, 12-2 thus far with the Bears. So it should be an exciting day, Kellen.
Yeah, I mean, would have been a little bit more exciting if we got a top 7 matchup, you know, at 125. But I mean, there's a lot of question marks with the matches here, especially, I mean, even at 133, Dominic Serrano, you know, he's ranked 17 where, you know, Klebo's unranked, but Klebo has the win over him back in early 2024. So just, you know, a lot of question marks with a lot of these matchups.
As Serrano, the junior transfer from Nebraska, a native of Windsor, Colorado, coming closer to home to finish off his college career. Gets it on a deep double leg, comes behind, no takedown awarded yet, as Klebov somehow Houdinis his way and evades giving up the 3 points. Great defense there by Klebov.
Yeah, I mean, double leg was really quick, but being able to get up before he was able to turn that corner and just establish control. I mean, that's the second time Klebo's been able to get out of something early here. So, you know, a lot of energy from him.
Klebov, the redshirt senior out of Northampton, Pennsylvania, one of 8 Sun Devils to qualify for the 2024 NCAA championships, including that win, like you mentioned, Kellen, over Serrano. The opening round of the tournament. Now Serrano looking for some revenge here in this first Sunday of February here in 2025. Nice defensive by Klebov, sprawling off those attacks from Serrano.
Yeah, really nice defense from Klebo, but, you know, as they get into this, you know, neutral position, he's, you know, getting shot on a lot, and eventually, you know, that defense might not hold up. So you just got to see energy's high. First match of the day at 133. So I don't know, he's got to get a little bit of offense, especially when they, you know, get an underhook, and maybe it's his turn to get, you know, a double leg shot or something like that.
No score through the first period, a 6-0 dual lead for Arizona State. Klebov will start under on bottom against Serrano. Will look to take control on top. Serrano, during his time with the Cornhuskers, he competed in the Big Ten championships as a freshman, as Klebov works the escape, earning the first points of the match, a 1-0 lead for the Sun Devil in gold. Sun Devils getting a whole new batch of singlets in their transition to the Big 12 Conference and kind of going a more traditional old school look, little Zeke Jones type yellow today.
Yeah, a lot more yellow. I mean, shoot, throw back a few years ago, they had, you know, the shirts and the shorts that they were wearing for a few matches. So, I don't know, definitely a change of era. But you got to think Klebo's feeling pretty good, up 1-0, you know, first points of the day.
Klebov with a beautiful sprawl once again, getting that head in front. Nice defense from the Sun Devil thus far, as Serrano has been placing all of the attacks thus far. Klebov looking for his window of opportunity. Serrano, during his prep career in the Rocky Mountain State, 168-0, 122 of those wins by fall. 4-time Colorado State champ. Klebov deep in on the shot, but a better sprawl by Serrano as they work back to their feet. Speaking of 4-time Colorado State champions, Colton Schultz, one of those as well. We'll see him later on today. One of the final few opportunities fans here in Tempe have to see the all-time legendary Sun Devil with one of the rare opportunities to become the only Sun Devil all time of all the great wrestlers who have come through this program, from Anthony Robles to Zahid Valencia, and now most recently Richard Figueroa, the chance to become a 5-time All-American. No Sun Devil has done it before, and given the circumstances of how eligibility is changing, I don't know if another one will do it again.
Yeah, it seems every year there's new changes, especially, you know, with the COVID year, but
still a 1-0 lead for Klebov, as he'll go on top of Serrano. A chance to tie things up. Riding time not a factor just yet.
yeah, a lot of forearm control, but you got to like what you're seeing if you're the Sun Devils. I mean, Klebov's been really good defensively and had some aggression.
Mat return by Klebov, but Serrano able to roll through and get out of it. And now a 1-1 tie here in Tempe with under 2 minutes to wrestle in regulation. Another shot attempt by Klebov. He's been firing off more of those attacks as the match has weared on. The 3-point takedown. Beautiful deep shot there by Serrano, and he kept on driving through, and no chance for Klebov to even react on a sprawl. And a mat return by Serrano. Has a grasp of that left thigh of Klebov, who's trying to work to his feet, and he does so. Now a 4-2 lead for Serrano. A takedown would give Klebov the lead. No riding time point in factor just yet. 30 seconds of riding time for Serrano.
If you're Klebo here, maybe you commit to a blast double. I just think, you know, if you're Serrano, you're kind of expecting the single leg, you know, the near side leg grab. Again, that's what, you know, Klebo does. He just drops down, tries to get the single leg, and time's going to become an issue pretty soon.
Klebov works back into the inner circle. Under 30 seconds left in the match. Northern Colorado looking for a win here at 133 to try and get back into the duel. 6-0 lead for the Sun Devils thus far in that fact. Under 10 seconds left. Klebov trying to fire off some attacks. Tangled up.
Yes,
shoots a desperation shot. Stall warning against Serrano. But the time will expire. And that will do it here at 133. Dominic Serrano comes away with the 4-2 decision over Julian Klebov, the number 17th ranked wrestler at the weight class, earning his 13th win of the season, and gets 3 points on the board for the Bears.
Yeah, you know, first match, there was a lot more excitement in the first round than there was in the second and third. You know, really, I think it's just the guy that shoots the most. And some of those low-scoring matchups, even our last scoring matchup was only 4-1. The guy that shoots the most is probably going to end up winning that. So.
And now here we go. I said there was going to be 2 national champions in the house today. One of them, Richard Figueroa, with the win by forfeit. And now for Northern Colorado, the hometown hero, the native of Greeley, Colorado, the 2023 undefeated NCAA champion, 28-0, Andrew Alirez. Using an Olympic red shirt last season, but is now back for his hometown Bears. Dipped into the transfer portal for a slight bit, but ultimately has chose to stay home and try and continue his historic run with his hometown team. Already the greatest wrestler in program history, winning their first national championship for Northern Colorado since 1962, back in 2023. Defeated Real Woods of Iowa, the only undefeated matchup in that 2023 NCAA championships. And he'll be taking on the young, quick up-and-comer for ASU, the junior from Eloy, Arizona, Emilia Isaguirre.
And you can see, you know, immediate aggression from Alirez, you know, off the start. And, you know, Isaguirre's got to, you know, reciprocate that. He's doing, you know, good right now with the hand fighting, but he cannot let himself, you know, get tech falled or get out aggressive in this match, because that's what, you know, the defending national champion is going to want to do. He's going to want to come out here and just bully the other guy.
Alirez continuing his dominance at this 141-pound weight class, a 7-0 record.
He's going to get tripped, yep.
And a trip, and then Tapa Isaguirre, he goes 3-point takedown. As Ramirez not missing a beat.
He's got to be smart. He's going to try and break that arm down.
Ramirez, the Big 12 Wrestler of the Year as well, back in 2023. Using last year to train for the Olympic Games, did not qualify. But is in pursuit of LA 28 when that time comes. But right now he has his sights set on a second national title for the Bears.
Good defense by Isaguirre. You know, you see a lot of these, you know, lopsided matchups on paper. As soon as they get to the ground, the guy kind of gives up. But getting an escape early, not getting any near fall points or anything, you know, it's keeping him in it for right now.
Isaguirre trying to go toe-to-toe with the best at this weight class right now. Ramirez number 2 in the nation at the 141-pound weight class. That has been loaded with talent this season, from Bo Bassett to many others. It's a plenty loaded weight class here at 141. Ramirez has been a transcendent figure in this Northern Colorado program. It's trying to establish itself in the Big 12 and amongst the upper programs in college wrestling. Right now, it's been described by the outside as kind of a mid-major. And Troy Nickerson as trying to take this program and turn it into a national contender. And Nickerson, along with Zeke Jones, were hired around the same time back in 2014. And they've transcended each of their programs individually, along with Ramirez playing a huge factor in that, becoming Nickerson's first and only national champion. 3-0 lead for the reigning 3-1 lead, pardon, for the reigning national champion at 141 pounds back in 2023.
You know, this is the opportunity for Isaguirre to get him in an uncomfortable situation. Obviously, don't want to go out of bounds there, but, you know, instead of starting on bottom, you know, where Ramirez could have had a dominant, you know, near fall points or something, showing the aggression, being the guy on top as being the underdog, like that's what you want to show, that you're in this match and that, you know, it's not going to be an easy rollover match.
Ramirez works the escape, and now a 4-1 lead. Ramirez number 2 behind the reigning national champ, Jesse Mendez, at 141 from Ohio State. Could potentially see that matchup in the 2025 finals taking place in Philadelphia this upcoming March. Plenty of wrestlers that want to find their way to that grand stage, center mat of the NCAA logo. And Ramirez did just that. Even just getting to that moment, he became the first since 1969 to do it for Northern Colorado. For perspective, that was when Neil Armstrong walked on the moon. So it gives you a little perspective on how historic this young man for Northern Colorado is, and being that he's from Greeley, it makes it all the more special. Isaguirre holding his own thus far, though.
Yeah,
he was a match away from going to the NCAA tournament himself as a true freshman. Got thrust into the Pac-12 championships, given an injury to Jesse Vasquez, who used to be the staple at 141, bumping up to 149. We'll see him next. He nearly found his way to an auto bid to the NCAA championships, but ultimately fell short in the Pac-12 final.
Now you got to think, if you're thinking about, you know, the dual score, 4 seconds left. Isaguirre really doesn't want to get turned here.
Deep shot by Ramirez.
Are they going to award it?
But it's short time and clock will run dry.
They're still talking about it. No takedown.
Looks like it's going to go to a review here. Or at least the officials are going to go that way. it didn't appear that he got a full control around for the three-point takedown.
No, I mean, Isaguirre is on his back. It's, kind of an awkward position, but he didn't circle. And, that's usually one of the key, times. I mean, 2 seconds more and he would have been full circled. But I think that's what they're going to see in the replay. Yeah.
We're going to start that first period. Make some noise, Sandoval fans.
Now you got to think, you're Isaguirre, you're down by 3 points. I mean, you can escape in a takedown, you're up in the match. But at the same time, in a close duel where, 157, 165 is going to be difficult, you don't want to give up a major right here.
Exactly. Isaguirre, in terms of wrestling from a team perspective, also has a chance to win individually. Down 3 points. Chance to get an escape here and have a shot at a takedown to take the lead. But here is where Alirez is so tough on top. Strong ride, but Isaguirre now to his feet.
And he's stuck in this tripod right now. He's getting rode.
A decision here would tie the duel for Northern Colorado's 6-3 advantage for Arizona State. Alirez shelving that right leg. And we'll go to a stalemate. But for Isaguirre, for wrestling for a team perspective right now, he's doing exceptional.
Yeah, I would certainly agree. I mean, certainly there's been, a lot of head control from Alirez, but, Isaguirre is holding his own. He's not getting taken advantage of on the ground.
Isaguirre has the whizzer, trying to reverse free, and he does so. 2-point match. The number 2 wrestler in the land, Andrew Alirez, on the ropes here against Emilio Isaguirre.
This is not where you want to find yourself, though.
Alirez in on the ankle, trying to finish off the shot. Isaguirre gives up the takedown as Alirez able to quickly turn that escape, chain his move, and keep on pursuing that shot. Did not waste a second, and that's that continuous wrestling that separates the good from the elite.
Yeah, especially, and also where they were on the mat. I mean, they were right near the out of bounds, and just to be able to rotate from, Alirez being the inside wrestler to on the outside and, maintaining control and, not wasting it where they have to reset.
And it's part of the improvements that Alirez has been able to make, with Coach Nickerson saying that he was able to grow a lot during that Olympic redshirt year. Utilize that time, further hone in on his craft. And he's now back and improves to 8-0 on the season. The 2023 NCAA champ remains unbeaten here in 2025, but a valiant effort for the young Sun Devil and Emilio Isaguirre.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely prevented the Sun Devils from getting out of the match early and getting on their heels. And I mean, now you got Jesse Vasquez wrestling, and it's like, all right, it's 6-6, but ASU should win this match.
The win for Alirez evens up the duel at 6-6. So we move along to 149 pounds, where a household name here in Tempe, Jesse Vasquez, who's had to deal with all sorts of injuries through his entire Sun Devil career, has come into a season healthy for the first time since suiting up for the Maroon and Gold. In his final season with the Sun Devils, number 18th nationally, 12-6 record thus far, taking on Benji Alanis, 6-10 thus far this year. As Vasquez coming off a 2-0 decision against Zeke Seltzer from Missouri. As the Sun Devils dropping their most recent duel on the road to the number 23 Tigers. ASU ended up winning the final 3 bouts in that one, ultimately could not come away with the victory.
Yeah, it's so crazy. This is the opposite of what ASU had 2 years ago, where they were winning every lightweight bout and losing every heavy bout. And you know, they have a strong 125, strong 149, but a lot of question marks outside of that between 125 and 157.
Jesse Vasquez trying to be one of the solidified candidates for an All-American spot. Ended up qualifying for the NCAA championships for the first time in his career last year. A Pac-12 champion in its final iteration of the conference as we know it, or knew it then. Sun Devils now in the Big 12 with their second Big 12 home duel of the year. Coming up short to Northern Iowa to begin the 2025 campaign. Vasquez trying to do a little super duck fake. Vasquez really didn't get to start getting going last season until February full time. Ended up winning 9 of his first 10 matches since his return from injury and went on to win 4 of those matches in the postseason.
Yeah, and that was at 141, back when ASU had Parco at 149 now. You know, losing that and Teamer to Iowa.
Now Vasquez asked him about why he made the jump to 149, and he said, look, you know, I want to maintain healthy. I'm in my final year of college, just trying to go out and just wrestle and not have to worry about any of those outside factors that could affect him from wrestling the best he can. And right now he's been wrestling the best he has really since he was a 4-time California State champion.
Yeah, I mean, because every wrestler, you know, naturally sits at a different weight. Then they train at a heavier weight. You know, they walk around at a heavier weight, and for some people it's easier than others. And you know, if you're having to cut weight consistently, it's like senior year, you don't really want to do that unless you're contending for a national title in that weight class.
Less than 7 seconds remaining here in this opening period. Not much action thus far between the two at 149. No score. And it will be the Sun Devils' decision as Vasquez will defer to Northern Colorado. It'll be Alanis who will choose bottom. Bit of a homecoming for Benji Alanis, the native of Tucson, Arizona. Redshirt junior now here with the Bears. Ended up being a 2-time All-American during his prep career and a Super 32 medalist. Number 4 national recruit at 138 pounds.
There's Vasquez breaking him down. It looks like he's going to try and roll him in.
Vasquez has improved his top game over the years. Alanis, the product of Valiant College Prep. A pipeline that has produced several good prospects up and coming through the program through Arizona State. Vasquez will go center circle once again here with Alanis, who finished last season 9-6. As both athletes will go to their coach's corner, looks like Alanis needs some blood time taken care of. As in both of these coaches in their 10th season at the helm. Zeke Jones having guided Arizona State to 6 Pac-12 with 8. And trying to capture his first in the Big 12. Sun Devils had a dominant history in the Pac-12 conference. But the Big 12 is a whole new beast with a lot of historic programs scattered throughout the top 25. Oklahoma State and Iowa State are the only 2 programs who have won a conference championship in the conference, with obviously OSU being the cream of the crop.
Yeah, I mean, one of the premier wrestling programs in the Big 12, and I mean, there's possibilities, but you know, wrestling season during the year is always so different than whenever you get to the actual conference tournament too, you know. Just because it's not dual based, it's every just placement.
Good rat return from Jesse Vasquez as he's getting close to wearing down here on the opponent, Elenis. Now up to a 1:19 minute of riding time. So that point, if he can hold on to that time over the next couple of periods, could earn him a difference-making point.
And this is what you want if you're Jesse Vasquez. I mean, when you're the favorite, you don't want to be in these close matches because it's like, all right, you don't sprawl on one takedown and all of a sudden you're down 3-0 and then you take it back to 3-1. Like, you have to push the aggressiveness, and just having that ride time and also being able to control the other wrestler, even if it's not for points, is very important in close matches like this.
Vasquez trying to work against Elenis, trying to break free, loses the grip for a second, and works him out of bounds. Nice job by Vasquez staying persistent, and you see over there Frank Molinaro, the Sun Devils' prime assistant, along with Lee Pritz. Each have been essential figures in the Sun Devil wrestling room, especially Molinaro with Vasquez, helping him individually a lot. You see them all the time in the room, breaking down film and just wanting to get better every single day. It's Molinaro himself qualified for the Olympic trials and an alum of Penn State, an NCAA champion with Penn State, along with a 4-time All-American. And now trying to build something special here in the desert. The Sun Devils with multiple national champions in the Zeke Jones era, with Richard Figueroa and Zahid of Valencia. Time expires on period number 2. There's nearly 2 minutes of riding time racked up there for Jesse Vasquez. What a period by him to be able to go that entire length on top.
Yeah, I mean, that's the epitome of a period that doesn't show on the scoreboard, but you just see complete control in the match. I mean, half the period was spent outside the bounds, but, he's just got to continue that same energy and not get caught up in a takedown, really.
And now Vasquez has the escape and has the riding time point on his side. With their riding time point virtually locked up.
And now he's just got to continue what he did.
Here's Vasquez in on a single leg. Shelves it up. Elenis trying to roll through. Vasquez in scramble position. Elenis has a hold of the foot, now turns things around and gets the 3-point takedown on Vasquez. An escape for Vasquez. Believe it should be.
No, a counter shot.
It should be 3-2.
You just got to trip him here. Watch
Vasquez now with the leg, goes through, brings down the house on the 3-point takedown. Shelved the leg high, tripped the back right. And a huge response for the Sun Devil. As we go out of bounds, what a response by Vasquez. Yeah, and Zeke Jones also arguing Lee Pritz. I believe they missed one of Vasquez's takedowns, so now the score changed to 5-3.
Yeah, it was that first escape. Whenever Vasquez started on bottom, they didn't count the point. But yeah, I mean, that was a really good scramble by both wrestlers. I mean, Elenis was in a bad position, but he had the foot and was able to turn that around for the takedown. And then Vasquez was already in the tripod mid-takedown and was able to get out of that and counter shot.
Vasquez's 2 minutes and 7 seconds of riding time gives him another point that will be tacked on at the end of the match. So it really is 6-3 at the moment, with Alirez needing an escape and a takedown. 34 seconds remaining. The crowd and Mullet trying to get into it.
with the three-point takedown and the escape, even with the ride time point, Alirez would get the win then. So, you know, the thing he's got to count out for is get the escape, get the takedown, and he just has to make sure he doesn't let Vasquez escape, which would even it up.
Vasquez looking to continue to rise the ranks here in this 149-pound division, as some stacked wrestlers, including the former Sun Devil Kyle Parko at Iowa. Six tie still in the duel. Sun Devils looking to earn a decision here from Jesse Vasquez. Vasquez chasing down.
Keeps him in bounds too.
Alanis, and he does keep him on the edge.
Just trying to break down. We'll just reset.
And this has been much improved abilities on top from Vasquez. You can tell he's really been able to hone in on that skill set, because everybody knows in March, that's what matters.
Yeah. I mean, in March is when you get those, you know, matches that are decide 2-3 points that decide if you're on the top or the bottom of the bracket.
Good rollout by Alanis. 12 seconds left. Gonna start firing off attacks. Vasquez trying to defer.
Vasquez could still get a stalling call here.
4 seconds left. A desperation shot from Alanis, but Jesse Vasquez comes out on top. 6 for the final in favor of the Sun Devil. As Jesse Vasquez, whole new look here in the 2024-25 season, and is adding to his final story in his Sun Devil book.
You talk about March, there's two things that are important in March: having control on the mat and being able to close out close matches, and demonstrated both by Vasquez there.
His 13th victory, and now back-to-back wins in a row for Vasquez. As we go to our final bout before the intermission here at 157 pounds, it'll be Michael Kilic, 4-11 thus far this year for Arizona State, and number 16th ranked Vinny Zerbian. Zerbian at 11-2 thus far this year for the Bears. And a quick takedown right off the bat from Zerbian. Literally wasted not a second amount of time.
I mean, if you're Kilic, you're excited to be out of bounds after a start like that, just to, you know, wrap your head around and get reset. But
a quick escape from Kilic. It's quickly 3-1 in favor of Zerbian, the redshirt junior out of Beth Alto, Illinois. An NCAA qualifier as an at-large a year ago, and was one round away from earning All-American status. Nearly cracked his way into the 6th best in the country, trying to get onto that podium this year. Meanwhile, Kilic, the native of Marietta, Georgia, opened his season with a big-time 17-5 major decision to open his dual campaign against Cal Baptist. Kilic with a nice sprawl. Shot in from Zerbian.
yeah, after the strong first 2 seconds of the match by Zerbian, you know, things have settled down a little bit, but I would expect another shot here. He's, you know, working to get forearm control on that right arm right now.
Kilic, some nice defense since that opening shot by Zerbian. Shot right out the gate. got the three-point takedown, but Kilic has been able to slow things up since. 9-6 dual lead for Arizona State with a minute to go here in the opening period of 1:57. Sun Devils earning the victory by forfeit from Richard Figueroa at 1:25. As Steve O'Poulin reportedly did not weigh in today. Would have loved to see that matchup. 133. Colorado able to earn the win.
Paying dividends for the Sun Devils right now. I mean, without just nullifying that match, it would be 3-6 right now for the Bears, and looking for 3-9. But now Kilic keeps this to a regular decision.
A stalemate. Crowd didn't think so. Thought Kilic was working towards something. 21 seconds left in the period. The Sun Devils earning the win in their opening bout, and then in the last bout from Jesse Vasquez with that 6-4 win over Benji Elenis. And at 133 and 141. Decisions for the Bears, but nothing more. Only bonus points we've seen thus far were the forfeits, so we'll see if we're working toward that in the back half of the duel. A 3-1 lead for Vincent Zerbin. The NCAA qualifier on top of Kilic. He was a three-time state champion in Georgia. As Zerbin is able to work free under the grasp of Kilic. Now a 4-1 lead for the Bear. Kilic, also a Greco-Roman national champion in high school, so knows how to tango with the heavies. Wonder if he gets after it at all with Colton Schultz.
That would be getting head thrown by Colton Schultz would be a rough experience for a 157-pounder.
Colton Schultz, the National Greco-Roman Wrestler of the Year last season, just came up a match short of a trip to Paris in the 2024 Olympic trials. Falling to Adam Kuhn in that finale in State College. We'll see him up later today.
Zeke's liking what he's seeing from Kilic right now.
Zeke been able to revitalize this Arizona State program into a perennial powerhouse in college wrestling. Top 7 finish each of the last 4 years. Highlighted by the national championship individually for Richard Figueroa at 125. We got an NCAA finalist in Brandon Courtney back in 2021. And a two-time national champion, Zahid Valencia, in 2018 and 2019.
Yeah, and the thing with college athletics nowadays is it's not just about, building a good program, but maintaining a good program. We've seen what Arizona State's been a few years ago, and it's going to be, interesting, especially without Colton Schultz, without Jesse Vasquez, where necessarily the program goes in the next few years with just Richard Figueroa at the helm. And how do you keep Figueroa here in the new age of NIL and everything?
That's the new things that both of these programs are trying to navigate. And 4-1 lead for Zerbin heading into this third period frame. With riding time not a factor at all thus yet in this match. And the same thing for Troy Nickerson, trying to navigate building a program of his own. Quick turn for Zerbin, nearly had the fall. Has the backside of Kilic looking for the pin. Has the arm bar, trying to place him on his shoulders, gets some near fall points.
His delta
He's going for the home run.
It's close, but that right delt is still up.
Kilic trying to break free. Zerbin locking down on those arms, trying to work the shoulders flat. And now call allows Kilic to emerge free from the pinhold lock. 4-point near fall for Zurban on a move that came out of nowhere, just came with real quick on around that corner.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
had Kilic in some real big trouble.
that was potentially dangerous for a minute there. It looked like he was about to get the pin, couldn't get the left delt down, but yeah, I mean, he's going to go back to essentially the same position here in a second. Just needs to break down the tripod.
So now, with the riding time currently in Zurban's favor, it would be a 9-1 major decision if he's able to hold on. Be the first bonus point victory for the Bears. It would give them the lead in this duel going into the break. So Kilic trying to work to an escape to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, and then momentum-wise, after the break, you know, you got the 165 freshman for ASU that, you know, you're already down a point then in the duel, and then, you know, you'll get into Max Wilner.
Kilic able to work three as he's able to toss Zurban right off his back, but right back on top goes Zurban. Zurban so quick to react, not phased at all. Went right back in and secured the takedown on that quick slide by. And that will cinch up a major decision win for Vinny Zurban, as he gives the Bears the lead in this duel, 10-9. Slim separation between both of these squads as the redshirt junior Vincent Zurban comes away with the W. 10-9 Northern Colorado at the break, as both teams will go and reset for the back half of this duel. But don't go anywhere. We got a special piece coming around the corner your way. Taking a look back at how Richard Figueroa became ASU's first national champion at 125 since the legend Anthony Robles in 2011. Take a look, everybody.
Returns to Mountain America Stadium February 22nd through March 16th.
Place the young junior Austin Scott transfer from Oregon State into the lineup for ASU. So really some toss-up matches over the next 4 bouts up until heavyweight Colton Schultz.
Yeah, and honestly, there's even more confusion at 165. The lineup sheets said Austin Scott was going to be out wrestling, but the announcement board, whenever they did walkouts, was Arturo Anaya. So nobody really knows what's going on for 165.
It will be Austin Scott who takes the mat here at 165 as we get underway with the back half of this Sunday matinee from Mullen. A good one on hand in this inner Big 12 clash between Northern Colorado and Arizona State. Blake Neiman again here with Kellen Croxton. So glad to be joining you as we are underway here at 165. The rising junior Austin Scott against Clayton Ullery from Northern Colorado. 8-5 on the year is Ullery. Meanwhile, Scott thus far this season with a record of 2-3.
You know, this is one of those important weight classes. 125 is always important. 157 is important. And 165 is important because this is the first match out of the break. Momentum's kind of neutral. You want to get your guys going, especially going into 174, 184, 197, where the Sun Devils have a chance at all those weight classes.
Ullery from Grantville, Pennsylvania, the redshirt senior. Meanwhile, Scott, native of Tucson, Arizona, a 2-time Arizona State champion.
Oh, and
Get
Scott
tangled
gives
up with
the
Ullery,
leg.
who got the leg up high on that one.
It will roll through and get back to neutral, though.
And we will reset. Just about 1:15 in to this bout at 165, and I think over these next 4 matches, Kellen, really it's quite evenly matched across the board.
Yeah, I would say, you know, Northern Colorado probably has a little bit of an advantage.
Big takedown by Ulrey here. Gets the first points of the bout.
But Northern Colorado probably has a little bit of an advantage at 184, but, you know, 174, 197, definitely up in the air. I would say the Sun Devils have a heavy advantage at 285, but, you know, this is going to come down to if you get a major, if you get a regular decision, and all these matches matter. And the matches within a match matter. Just determining, you know, how the match goes is going to affect the team score.
Scott able to work to his feet. As Ulrey goes in on another shot. Nice counter by Scott, trying to re-attack.
Just was
but no progress.
Shot, yeah.
Another underhook, sliding that by, and Ulrey on top once again. Really starting to turn up the intensity here in this back half of the first period. 6-1 lead now for the Bear. Ulrey again 8-5 this year for Northern Colorado.
If you're Scott, you either need to, you know, force Ulrey to get out of bounds or tripod up and try and leverage inside, but looks like he's going to try and get that foot out.
As we will go out of bounds and reset a 6-1 lead for the former Virginia Tech Hokie turned Northern Colorado Bear. Spent his first 4 years of his collegiate career with VTech. Going 16-14 at 165 back in the 2022 season. Native of Grantville, Pennsylvania. A 3-time place winner and a 2-time district champion. Was Ulrey in Pennsylvania. As both guys work out of bounds, but Ulrey has really taken command of this match quickly.
Yeah, and I think there's been a common theme with all the matches that the Sun Devils lose, in that most of their offense relies on those single leg shots out of neutral. And, I mean, they're just consistently getting sprawled on and then getting turned. I mean, Ulrey just got a turn on Austin Scott like that.
And another 3-point takedown for Northern Colorado. It's Clayton Ulrey putting on the pressure here. Another 3-point takedown. Scott is looking quite exhausted out here with all the attacks. Ulrey only putting the pressure on further. 10-point advantage for Clayton, now 15-5. Make it 18-5. One more could turn things into a technical fall.
Yeah, that's what you don't want if you're ASU, because then you're 3 points behind, a whole decision behind just to get back to even. And what looked like, you know, a major was almost out of the question in the first period. It's like you have almost a minute left in the second period, and you're just a few points away from a tech fall. Unless Scott gets some freak pin right now, I don't understand how they would be able to prevent that 5-point team score.
And that will do it. Clayton Ulrey flashes dominance here at 165 pounds. The loss of Nico Ruiz to the rib injury certainly stings for the Sun Devils as Northern Colorado adds to its lead out of the break, tallying on 5 points with the tech fall. Now 15-9 lead for the Bears, with the Sun Devils having some work to do over these next few bouts.
Yeah, and you know, you got to be frustrated if you're Austin Scott, because at the end of that first period, you were down by like 3 points, and then you let up, you know, almost 17 points in the second period. And, you know, momentum's a crazy thing in wrestling sometimes.
So now at 174, it's Aiden Ricks McInerney, 2-7 thus far this year. Meanwhile, for Arizona State, It'll be Max Wilner, 6-5 on the year. So Wilner has fluctuated through quite a bit of weight classes over the years. I remember seeing early on in his career back at 157. He's now worked his way all the way up to 174 pounds, the native of Costa Mesa, California. Taking on Aiden Ricks McElhinney, native of Maine. Meanwhile, Wilner, not too far from home, coming from the Golden State to the Valley of the Sun. Now in his 4th season with the Sun Devils, the redshirt junior. Wilner went 3-3 last season for the Sun Devils with appearances in duels against North Carolina, Lock Haven, Missouri, CSU Bakersfield, and OK State. So he's got some experience in these high-level duels and knows how big a momentum swing can be. Sun Devils at least would like to see a decision out of him.
Yeah, I don't think coming into this duel between these two teams, you would think, oh, 174 between Max Wilner and Aiden Ricks McElhinney is going to be the turning point in the match today. But you look at it, and it's like Sun Devils get, a decision here. They're back to even, and then they got Shea Addison and Max Accardi. And then they got Colton Schultz, which, could potentially be a 6-point team point win. And it just seems like if you get in a 6-point deficit here, you have to at least win one of the next two to even stay in this match. So, this would create a lot of breathing room for the Sun Devils if Wilner can pull it off.
Ricks McElhinney, the native of South Berwick, Maine, coming all the way to northern Colorado to suit up for his collegiate career. In his high school campaign, he was 104-5. As his high school squad placing 2nd at the Maine State Championships. Product of Falcon High School there. And the top northeast corner of the country, and a takedown early for Aiden Ricks McElhinney. Chose the Bears over a variety of offers from across the country, including Nebraska, Rising Power, Utah Valley. They've had a really good season down there in southern Utah, and Adams State. As Wilner will get some medical attention. McElhinney going back to his corner. Quickly all sorted away. As the Sun Devils having some movement over the years at the 174-pound weight class since Zahid Valencia dominated that weight class in 2018 and 2019. It's been trying to fill that void in a variety of ways since then.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, the 174, 184, and 197 weight class has been very chaotic. They had Cordell Norfleet at 197 for a while, and that was their stapler, but 174, 184 has always been an issue. I mean, the most consistent wrestler they had at those weight classes, they had Anthony Montalvo for a year, and, Josh Newmer was a staple for a while, but it's been a sore spot for the Sun Devils.
Well, and they also, prior to the recent years, had Anthony Valencia, the 4-time Pac-12 champion, so it's kind of replacing a brother with another one. Kyle Valencia has been at 174, making the bump up to 184 this year.
You can't forget about Anthony Valencia, too, at 165 for the Sun Devils.
Exactly. And so we will see either Kyle or Shea Addison next. Meanwhile, a 4-0 lead for Aiden Ricks McElhinney, as the Bears lead at 15-9 in the duel. As the Sun Devils only win thus far in this duel that took place on the mat was Jesse Vasquez at 149. Richard Figueroa, of course, earning that win by forfeit at 125. Fans, of course, would have loved to see him in action today Nico Poulin not holding up his end of the bargain in that regard.
Yeah, I think, you know, a lot of people probably coming to the duel just for that matchup, because that's probably something we're going to be seeing in March. And you know, if you look at the scoreboard and you see 9-15, you feel surprisingly well if you're an ASU fan, because it doesn't really feel like the Sun Devils have earned 9 points in this duel so far.
We'll have a chance to kind of turn the tide here in this back half of the duel. Try and regroup, reset. Start of the second period. Frame a quick escape for Rix McElhenney. Wilner getting some encouragement from Zeke Jones, saying set up the tie and go. We'll see how he does so. Wilner starting to figure some things out. Going some fakes, figuring out some shots. Starting to feel his way out.
Yeah, I mean, down 5-0.
Gets in on a low double, spin through, trying to turn the corner, and he wraps around that right leg, circles behind, and gets the three-point takedown. Huge momentum boost for the Sun Devil in gold.
He's got good arm control. He's just got to break the base. Oh, but he's letting him up.
Rix McElhenney works away quickly, as it's a 6-3 advantage still for Rix McElhenney. Zeke Jones telling Wilner to get his arm free. And Jones, ever echoing message from the corner. One of the best to ever do it. From a technical standpoint and a coaching standpoint, was the head coach of the 2012 Olympic team in London, helped Jordan Burroughs win his Olympic title there. And since taking over this Sun Devil program in 2014, has turned ASU into a national power. Good ankle pick by Rix McElhenney, but a better defense by Max Wilner, and he hangs on, no points to end the frame. As we will head to period number 3 here in Tempe. A 6-3 advantage for Rix McElhenney, but with Wilner going on bottom, chance to get an escape here. Could parlay that into a takedown and potentially take the lead. This is a crucial match for the Sun Devils in terms of working their way back into this duel, with amount of opportunities slimming by the rest of the way.
Yeah, and you can see Wilner's, you know, using a lot of this time, and I'm sure that's what the ASU coaches are kind of instilling in him is, hey, once you get this escape, because you're starting on bottom, like, here's the plan of how you're going to, you know, because this match has been fairly scrambly. I mean, you know, with the ankle pick defense, you know, Wilner's first takedown kind of being like a, you know, a mini scramble drill. Who's going to turn the corner first? It's like, it's going to be quick, and having a plan, using blood time for that plan, I would expect him to come out with something here.
Wilner trying to work free. Riding time not a factor at the moment, just 8 seconds. And that time will stop for Rix McElhenney. An escape for Wilner, down by 2. Sun Devils needing a decision to try and stay in the duel. Rix McElhenney works behind.
Oh.
Barely keeps his toe in bounds. Wonder if Zeke is going to send that to a review. He will not. Just drag the foot along the mat long enough and secures his hands around the waist for the three-point takedown. Huge move,
yeah,
for Rix McElhenney.
By McElhenney. I mean, he was literally 2 inches away from that not being a takedown at all with his foot placement.
Rix McElhenney just 2-7 thus far this year for Northern Colorado, seeking his 3rd win and could potentially give the Bears a big-time victory here in the desert. The Sun Devils with just 3 more opportunities. You know, you would like to bank on a pin from Colton Schultz. Usually does deliver, but definitely will need victories over the next 2 bouts. He can't do it single-handed.
Yeah. And
Wilner's
I mean,
still with a chance, though, to hang even
with, you know, a pin from Colton Schultz, there's 3 matches left right now. They would all have to be decisions, and you'd have to win at least one of them. So, you got a perennial top 5 wrestler in the country at 285, but you're going to need somebody else to step up before then.
All right, here's McElhinney. Down the stretch, Wilner has been flattened out, and the riding time point has been secured by Rix McElhinney, now at 10-5. Under 10 seconds left. And that will do it here at 174 pounds. Aiden Rix McElhinney earns his 3rd victory of the season and serves as a difference maker here in this duel. A 3-point decision goes Northern Colorado's way as they are 2-0 out of the break. They've won their last 3 matches in this one, as it's now 18-9. They double up on ASU. And the Sun Devils needing a decision at least in these next 2 bouts.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I don't know if 184 is. I think you got a better chance at 197 to be able to get that decision, but we'll see. Little Frank Sinatra, maybe.
So at 184 pounds for Northern Colorado, number 25 ranked AJ Heeg, 11-10 on the year, taking on Shea Addison, 8-6 on the season for the Sun Devils. What could be a make or break bout here for the Sun Devils. Heeg, just a freshman from one of the capital states of wrestling, Edmond, Oklahoma. Meanwhile, Addison, a cross-country recruit from New Jersey. Now in his 4th season with the Sun Devils, the redshirt junior. Addison, thus far on the year for ASU, 8-6. Meanwhile, Heeg, 1 match above 500 at 11-10. Addison has wrestling run in the family. His brother wrestled at Stanford. Older brother Nick was 111-19 in high school, including 37-3 as a senior in a state that is known for high school wrestling dominance, New Jersey. A lot of great recruits that come out of there and go on to do big things. So kind of a rising, flashing freshman against an elder experienced veteran for the Sun Devils.
It's very Greco-Roman-esque so far. A lot of hand fighting, a lot of, up-tie control. But at the same point, started out better than some of the Sun Devils matches today.
Addison, quick move, rolls through, gets the takedown. How about that? Well, things can change in a matter of seconds. And Shea Addison, I don't even really know what he did there. Looks like he had a high crotch, spun it through.
I mean, the whole first minute of the match was purely, tie control and hand fighting. Then, you get roll through like that.
He looked to go through that high single. Heeg tried to spin out of it, and Addison quickly just turned all the way through.
Carried the momentum.
And got on top. Let his body go with the motion. Felt it out, and it's a 3-1 lead for the Sun Devil, who have some life in this duel again.
Ooh.
Deep shot now for Heeg. Addison trying to counter. Headlocks and comes through. You are right, very Greco-Roman-esque type style wrestling. There's 3 seconds and counting. Big move in that first period by Shea Addison. He's on top by 2 going into period number 2.
I mean, that was a minute 40 of hand fighting and about 20 seconds of scrambling, and all of a sudden, you know, you're into the second period.
Well, that's what happens is in these upper style of weights, it can be still moving, and then boom, all of a sudden, things can change quite rapidly. Addison goes on bottom first, trying to work out free from Heeg, looking to break the grip around the waist. Heeg does mat return Addison and trying to build up some riding time here in this second period frame. Addison to his feet once more. Heeg trying to hold on, he can't. 4-1 lead for the New Jersey native.
There's some energy on the Sun Devils side now. This is the first time they've been up since 149.
You see the energy in the corner. Zeke Jones encouraging Addison on. The rest of the team supporting from the corner. Zeke Jones saying shot and elevate. To continue that motion through all the way. Zeke Jones can sense that a shot's coming from Heeg. It's when you can recognize those setups and be able to counter. They're critical. Heeg with a deep shot. Better counter by Addison.
He's going to try and keep him in bounds here.
Elbows him off with the wizard. And a powerful defense by Shea Addison. Reacted right away from that deep shot from Heeg.
It's kind of nice
but
to have
couldn't
Zeke
latch
Jones in your
the
corner.
grass. Yeah. Had the help of his coach giving him the signals right away. Almost like the Sun Devil signal caller there from the corner is Zeke Jones. In his 10th season, he's seen a few things over the years since he was a Sun Devil at ASU back in the late 80s and early 90s. Going to Barcelona in 1992 as the silver medalist there. And has since been a savant in terms of coaching, the technician, as he's often been called. An incredible coach. He's got a great program going here in Tempe and looking to try and work his team back into this duel on the back of 184-pounder Shea Addison. Third period, 3-1 lead.
If you're Shea, you just got to, break him down. Just consume as much time as you can off this third period as he gets that inside trip.
Addison
right
looking to break it down, has a hold of that right leg.
And even if this results in no points, it's good chewing up that clock because it's going to cause a more forced shot by Heeg, which Addison's done a pretty good job avoiding so far. So
Heeg starting to get weared down. Addison looking to roll that left wrist out from under the body, and he flattens him down. Strong start to the third period for Shea Addison. Looking to give the Sun Devils their first victory in this duel since Jesse Vasquez at 149 and just their third bout victory of the day. Claps come from the Sun Devils side. Under a minute remaining in the match. Shea Addison is just seconds away from earning the riding point. And it's now over a minute.
And now Shea's got to read. I mean, if he looks at the clock, he'll see that he's got 30 seconds. He needs probably at least 10 seconds to set up a shot. So Shea's just got to keep him on the ground, know that he's going to try and escape right now.
Heeg works out of bounds, but plenty of clock chewed up and a phenomenal ride from Addison, who flattened out Heeg. Heeg, you can see the wear and tear. Fatigue starting to wear on. 26 seconds left, a minute 15 of riding time. Addison right now would have a 5-1 lead. An escape for Heeg, 15 to go.
Addison can
Still a technical three-point lead here for Addison. A takedown would tie it for Heeg. 5 seconds to go.
He doesn't have time.
And Shea Addison hangs on. A strong third period ride sets up the victory for the Sun Devil.
84 pounds for your Sun Devils, Shea Addison.
Big time, much needed win for the New Jersey native as he spun through in that first period with a great reactive takedown and turned it into a 3-point decision for ASU, who now finds themselves down by 6 with 2 matches to go. Have to get a victory here if they want to give chance for Colton Schultz to cap off the day with a win. 197, it's Andrew Donahue of Northern Colorado at 5-7.
They had the Frank Sinatra outro for Shea Addison, and they switched it up. But, I mean, this is a pivotal match because, you know, you get Colton Schultz and you get to, you know, 15-18. Colton Schultz might be able to win the match for you guys. So, you know, 197, at least keeping it outside of a major decision is imperative for the Sun Devils.
This is Max Achardi for Arizona State, trying to keep the Sun Devils in position to achieve a victory. Achardi, the native of Woodcliff Lake, New Jersey, back-to-back New Jersey natives in this Sun Devil lineup. Transfer from Cal Baptist, joining the Sun Devil squad this season. Competed in 4 duels at heavyweight for the Lancers last season. State champion in New Jersey in high school at the heavyweight division.
Now, if you're Donahue, you got to be focused on getting a major decision. It would effectively ice the match. And so
Donahue at 5-7 on the year is the junior from Powell, Ohio, product of the prestigious prep school in Wyoming Seminary. Top 150 recruit and top 20 nationally at 182. Was a medalist at the iconic Ironman Classic. Last year, a 13-6 record. In his first year at Northern Colorado. Achardi went for a shot, quickly gets headlocked, and now a chance for Northern Colorado. Here's Donahue trying to circle the corner, works back to his feet, has Achardi's head locked up, looking for a headlock of some sort, trying to spin him down. Achardi trying to post out and work away from the grip. Donahue trying to down Achardi to the mat. Achardi works his head free, now on top. Has the grasp over the top, the entire Sun Devil bench on their feet. Achardi needing to circle here. And a stalemate after quite the flurry. It appeared that Donahue almost had a cement mixer in store.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he was, you know, a shoulder turn away from, Achardi was a shoulder turn away from getting pinned twice in that exchange. And, you know, just kept circling through until the stalemate. And I'm assuming we'll see something like that in a second, too.
Donahue putting Achardi in some danger in the first period, but no points awarded to either wrestler. As we go to period number 2, no score. We've seen quite a few of these no-score first periods today. But now a chance for Donahue to work out away from on bottom. Achardi takes top. But the Sun Devils have done a nice job of completing rides on top, working up the riding time points. It's been a big emphasis in the room for ASU.
You know, the issue was that we talked about how there wasn't enough movement.
Donahue is free. 1-0 Bears.
talked so much about how there wasn't enough movement and not enough offense at these heavier weight classes, and so I had to show us out and show, you know, a good little scramble drill for half the first period.
Those two former prep standouts trying to take their talents. Here now in the center of the collegiate circle. 1-0 advantage for Andrew Donahue. 18-12 dual lead for Northern Colorado. ASU needs a win here. They want to give their home run hitter Colton Schultz to walk it off for the Sun Devils like he has in this arena before. The Sun Devils' last win in this venue against a conference opponent back against Stanford last year. Colton Schultz had the walk-off pin there. Send the Sun Devils out in style. He'll try and do so again if given the opportunity. This will be facing off against either Jose Valdez or Remington Peterson. One of the two upcoming next. Both of them warming up on the Northern Colorado side. Meanwhile, Donahue and Acciardi in the center pitchfork. 16 seconds left in the second period frame. Acciardi tried to go for a shot, late go at it, and
Rolls
Donahue
through.
tried to go for the takedown, couldn't, as Acciardi rolled through on the somersault, flailed him out of bounds. No points for either wrestler, and a nice job recovering there by Acciardi. Reacted as best he could, seemed doomed, but Donahue can't complete the takedown as Acciardi quickly goes down to the ground to catch his breath and will now have a chance to work even with an escape. Zeke Jones encouraging the crowd to get amped up and involved. As here we go. Period number 3 underway. Acciardi gets that return, spins through and is out free. 1-1 tie here in Tempe. Slide by attempt. Now a bear hug for Acciardi. Tries to lock in the boot. If he does, he'll get the takedown. Couldn't quite get the foot inside the inner waist, and no points awarded for either guy. Bear hug again from Acciardi. Gets jacked up, and now Donahue able to capitalize, circles behind, and gets the takedown. Acciardi used a ton of energy over those last few move attempts, really was going after the takedown, and now with a boot in for Donahue, has Acciardi stretched out. Does not look good for the Sun Devils at this point. A quick turning point there for Donahue to react and capitalize on the defensive move.
Yeah, he let up some of that pressure. He didn't have to, get his elbows in on that, but he's got to get up and, get a counter shot within the next 40 seconds.
Acciardi completely flattened out now, trying to work to a base as riding time inches closer toward Donahue's benefit. Riding time has been secured for Donahue.
And now this is what you can't have happen, is you can't have a major decision or something come out of this.
Oh! Spin through Donahue. They're going to give him a 2-point reversal. At the end of the match, there is a riding time point. Regardless, it's a win for Donahue. As Andrew Donahue comes away with the victory, making it 21-12 Northern Colorado, who clinches the dual victory over Arizona State. Still one more match, and it's the main event for ASU. Colton Schultz, the 4-time All-American, 4-time Colorado State champion, taking on Northern Colorado's Jose Valdez.
And the mission's clear if you're Colton Schultz. You know, go out there, get a pin, you know, bring some life into this crowd at the end of the match.
Colton Schultz with the John Cena walkout, an NIL partnership with the WWE. Could be in his future, as this is his final year at Arizona State, trying to become the first 5-time All-American in program history. This is one of the final few times fans here in Tempe get to see this Sun Devil legend in action. And he's trying to give them something to remember here today. Big time throw for Schultz. There's the Greco-Roman coming out. 3-point takedown for the Sun Devil icon heavyweight. Schultz has been superb in this weight class. An NCAA finalist as a sophomore against Gable Stevenson, who's actually returned to college wrestling after winning gold in Tokyo back in 2020.
Yeah, it's not very often that you have a guy that's a senior when you're a sophomore graduate and then, or graduate as a junior, go to the WWE, actually make the Bills practice squad, and then come back, and now you might have to face him again in the NCAA tournament.
Could potentially see that matchup again, as Schultz 14-3 on the season. Number 5 ranked nationally. Has achieved All-American status in each of his years as a Sun Devil, but trying to get to the finals for a chance at a natty for just the second time in his Sun Devil career. Gets another takedown here, 6-1. Schultz has Valdez on his back. Works some near fall points and is going to continue to wrestle. Wants to get the most amount of his mat time here. And Schultz, you can just tell he looks like very well in shape today. Like, he's quicker. He's been able to focus more on folk style this year. Up his tempo, up his conditioning, up his shots, and ability to just focus on that, as opposed to Greco-Roman, which took up a lot of last season.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like last season, you know, he was the #1 seed going into the NCAA tournament, and it just seemed like he didn't have the aggressiveness.
Looking up the half Nelson, trying to go for the fall and end this duel off with a bang for ASU.
4-point near fall, Sun Devils.
Gets the 4-point near fall and secures the tech. Got what he wanted out of it. Gets the crowd amped up as this Sun Devil legend continues to add to his incredible career. Yet another bonus point win for Colton Schultz, who ends off the day with ASU's second bonus point win of the day, in addition to their first from their national champion, Richard Figueroa. Final score here from Tempe. Northern Colorado comes out top in the duel, although ASU wins the final bout. 21-17, the Bears win. Meanwhile, ASU dropping now its 4th straight duel. Sun Devils will be back in action at home against Cornell.